Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. We are talking all about last night's Champions League action. It was a very exciting night of group stage action. The first game for the other half of these teams following Tuesday night's beginning to life in the group stages for the new season. Plenty of action and plenty of goals galore. It was a night full of goals, full of action, and I'm going to be talking all about the games in this video, of course. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things always and forever be greatly appreciated. But for now, let's go back to talking about last night's Champions League action, beginning with Liverpool's game against AC Milan. Yes, we're going to kick things off with Liverpool's game against AC Milan last night at Anfield. It was another crazy night at Anfield. Another exciting night of European football for Liverpool as the Reds came out as 3-2 winners in a 5-goal thriller against the Italian side. A game that Jurgen Klopp's side really did make more difficult on themselves than what really was needed to. But I'm sure for a neutral, it was a spectacular game. And of course, one that shows that whenever these two sides do meet in a European competition, there is never a dull game, is there? Trent Alexander-Arnold's cross was deflected into the back of the net off Fikayo Tomori to open the scoring for the Reds. And then from then on, it was really a first half that, for the majority of it, the Reds truly did dominate. Plenty of possession, plenty of attempts on goal. They just simply couldn't convert those chances into goals. And even Mohamed Salah went on to miss from the penalty spot. But then within the space of a minute or so, the game completely turned on its head. Completely against the run of play, Anthony Rebic equalised for the Italian side in a swift counter-attack, and then in another swift counter-attack moments later, mere seconds later I should really say, Brahim Diaz scored from close range to put Milan in front. After the interval though, Liverpool came back stronger. Mohamed Salah equalised for the Reds from close range following a brilliant assist from Divock Origi before Jordan Henderson's fine strike from the edge of the area found the bottom corner, and from there Liverpool held on and claimed all 3 points on match day 1 of the group stages. Truly an incredible night. Like I say, Liverpool were excellent for a large portion of the game. A proper high intense performance in this 5-goal thriller. They just couldn't finish their chances when it came to doing that, and they almost paid for it. It almost cost them because AC Milan basically were just a bit more clinical on the night than Liverpool were, in all honesty. But more chances kind of paid off and Liverpool eventually got the win. Fabinho was class. Trent Alexander-Arnold had a few poor moments in the game, more defensively than going forward, but for the majority of it, he was good once again. Robertson was solid, and I thought that for Gomez's first proper game back following injury and stuff like that, his first proper game, more competitive game back, I thought he did pretty good too. And also special mention in Divock Origi as well. Comes under a lot of stick from not just rival fans and other fans as well, and even some of his own fans. But I thought last night he provided a very good assist for Salah and played very well. The only downside to his performance, obviously, was that he came off injured, and it's another injury that mounts up for Liverpool in the attacking area. And last thing, on Henderson's goal, a class strike, a goal worthy of winning any game, even more so a Champions League game. A great performance from him, with a few exceptions here and there, but ultimately, getting the win was more important for the entire team as a whole, and they certainly did achieve that. A great start to what could be a tricky group to navigate going forward. Also last night, Manchester City kicked off their group stages with a mad 6-3 win over German side RB Leipzig. Nathan Ake, a comical own goal by Mukiele, Riyad Mahrez, Jack Grealish on his Champions League debut, João Cancelo and Gabriel Jesus all got on the score sheet for Manchester City last night, whilst Christopher Nkunku scored a hat-trick for the Germans, but of course it wasn't enough. Angelino, on his return to his former club in City, got sent off later on in the game as RB Leipzig ended the game with 10 men. But let's face it, we all knew that going into this game, going into this entire group even, that City had a bit of a tough group ahead of them. It wasn't as easy as what we've become accustomed to seeing with Pep Guardiola's side over recent years. This was actually a group that consisted of some pretty tricky fixtures. And they've navigated the first one pretty successfully. And, you know, although it was kind of both teams trying to outpunch each other in this sort of like heavyweight bout, going goal for goal kind of thing, obviously City's firepower was too much for Leipzig to handle, and that is why they outscored them. It was another free night of scoring. Like I mentioned, defensively there will be some questions asked of City to concede 3 goals, but overall it was the 3 points that were the important thing to get tonight, last night, and of course City got them in abundance. City get the win, and it could, like I say, it could have been a bit more of a tricky group for them than many people predicted, but it's a great start. Another free-flowing scoring night. And what made the victory even sweeter, of course, was the fact that, rather surprisingly, PSG, who were expected to be, and still are expected to be, qualifying into the knockout stages with City, they got off to a mediocre start, shall we say, a 1-1 draw with Club Brugge last night for the French side. Like I say, many people predicted the French club to not only be advancing with City, but also to have a very comfortable night last night in which they would have beat Bruges rather convincingly. But of course, that didn't happen. Bruges put up more of a fight than what we were realising. So everyone in City's group has dropped points, except for City themselves. A great start for Pep Guardiola's side. Elsewhere in the Champions League last night, like I mentioned previously, PSG drew 1-1 with Club Brugge. Ander Herrera got the goal there for the French side, but ultimately it's only a point taken away from the opening group stage game, which is a bit disappointing with PSG considering the squad and the front three in particular that they have. That they couldn't get the win last night, especially against the team that is considered the easiest team, with all due respect, in their group. But fair play to Club Brugge. PSG are still expected to obviously qualify along with Man City to the knockout stages, but of course last night was a bit of a bump in the road. Ajax absolutely smashed Sporting Lisbon 5-1. Erling Haaland was back among the goals in the Champions League as Dortmund came out as 2-1 winners against Besiktas, a group in which Dortmund should advance in and should do so by topping that particular group, in all honesty. Atletico Madrid and Porto played out a goalless stalemate. They are, of course, the other two teams in Liverpool's group. A tough group for everyone there, but everyone drops points apart from the Reds, so ultimately it was a very good night for Jurgen Klopp's side when you consider the bigger picture. Real Madrid left it very late on to beat Inter Milan 1-0, and finally Champions League debutant Sheriff shocked Shakhtar Donetsk and maybe even a lot more people watching the Champions League last night when their Champions League debut played out a 2-0 win for Sheriff on last night. And finally, let's just take a moment to talk about the other European competitions that are taking centre stage tonight on Thursday night. The Europa League and the Europa Conference League, they are set to kick off their group stages as well tonight. Some of the big games to look out for, particularly from a British point of view. Leicester are taking on Napoli, which could be a very interesting fixture there. West Ham are away to Dinamo Zagreb. We of course know that Zagreb were the team that knocked out Tottenham of this competition last season. Celtic are away to Real Betis, and Rangers are at home to French side Lyon. Could be a couple of tricky nights for the Scottish sides there, but obviously they are expected to go and advance to the knockout stages in that competition in their groups. Whilst in the Europa Conference League, Tottenham are away to Rennes. Of course, with Tottenham being one of the bigger clubs in that competition, they're expected to go pretty far in that, if not all the way, and win this competition on its debut season. But, of course, this is Tottenham, so we wait and see what actually happens with them in the Europa Conference League. But as I always say, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of last night's Champions League action? What did you make of Liverpool's 3-2 victory over AC Milan? What did you make of City's goals galore game in which they outpunched, so to speak, RB Leipzig in the 6-3 win for Pep Guardiola's side? What do you make of any of the other games? What do you make of Inter Milan losing to Real Madrid? What do you make of Atletico and Porto's 0-0 draw? Champions League debutant Sheriff? Any of the games that happened last night? I would love to know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, down below in the comment section. I'm sure it'll all make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way up. Enjoy the video. Subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things always and found be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see and speak to you all again soon in another video.